Hi, I'm Stephen M. Miller. I write books about the Bible. I've never met anyone who came back from being stone cold dead, let alone dead, buried, and working on their third day of decomposition. So I understand why some folks don't believe in the resurrection of Jesus and why they can't understand how otherwise intelligent people do. So I thought I would tell you why. Atheists raise a high bar on the resurrection. They say a remarkable claim like that demands remarkable evidence to prove it. To which I am tempted to say, well, what's your remarkable evidence to prove that the vast universe randomly popped up out of nowhere and styled itself so beautifully? I can't even get a good haircut. Maybe I should tell the folks cutting my hair to throw away their little note card on me and forget the number 3 haircut clipper guard. Just plug in the clippers and see what happens. That's no good. When I try to explain why Christians believe in the resurrection of Jesus, I start with the Bible because it's the strongest evidence for many Christians. But initially, it's pretty much worthless in a conversation with people outside the faith. From their point of view, we Christians put a lot of stock in 4 anonymous writers who, 2,000 years ago, said Jesus rose from the dead. Those 4 writers wrote the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and the 3 kind of copied off each other a lot. Scholars call those books the Synoptic Gospels, synoptic from 2 Greek words. Optic is view and syn is together, view together, as in copy off each other. Those 4 books are the story of Jesus. Without them, we know almost nothing about him. Those books alone, most Christians say, provide all the eyewitness evidence they need to believe in the resurrection of Jesus. But people outside the faith are genuinely perplexed about why Christians would put their faith in anonymously written books that tell stories that read more like Marvel comic books than history. Jesus walks on water. The Flash runs on water. Peter heals the sick. So can Mr. Negative. And I'm not talking about Paul. Jesus offered his 12 disciples eternal life. Big deal. Marvel has 498 immortals. That's according to the Marvel database, last time I checked. To even begin to convince people outside the faith that Jesus rose from the dead, we need something from outside the Bible. We could use a credible Roman eyewitness who saw Jesus resurrected and ascended into the sky. We've got a bunch of them in the Bible, but we need someone outside the Bible. We don't have them yet. The closest we can come to accommodating the critics is to introduce them to a first-century Jewish historian named Josephus. He was also a Roman citizen. Writing a few decades after Jesus, he reported that Pontius Pilate ordered Jesus crucified. Josephus added this: the disciples of Jesus didn't give up on him. They kept believing what he taught them. They said he appeared to them after his crucifixion and that he was alive. Most atheists I talk with say that section of Josephus' history, which mentions Jesus, was written by some Christians who slipped it into the book several centuries later. There is one version that got tweaked a bit, the one that makes Josephus sound like a Christian who believed in the resurrection, but there's another version that makes him sound like the Jewish historian he was, someone reporting the story objectively. That's the version many historians say is legit. Non-believers who concede that point will push back. They'll say that what Josephus wrote was hearsay. He got his material from other people. He was no eyewitness. Okay, but he was a historian. I don't think the strongest argument we can make comes from the Bible or from a Roman history book. I think it comes from what the eyewitnesses themselves did. They died as martyrs. Most of Jesus' 12 disciples died that way. So did many other first-generation Christians. That continued off and on during 300 years of Roman persecution. Those people didn't have to die. All they needed to do to save their life was to sacrifice an animal to a Roman god and denounce Jesus. Some did. Many did not. The reason they wouldn't do it started with those original disciples. Those men believed Jesus rose from the dead. Even non-Christian historians agree with that much. They say they don't believe Jesus rose from the dead, but they acknowledge that his disciples believed it. Best-selling author and religion professor Bart D. Ehrman said he used to be a conservative Christian. I heard him recently describe himself as an agnostic now. He said he doesn't know if there is a God. But he has this to say about the resurrection of Jesus Christ. There can be no doubt historically that some of Jesus' followers came to believe he was raised from the dead. No doubt whatsoever. This is how Christianity started. How much did this eyewitness generation believe in the resurrection of Jesus? Roman Senator Tacitus, who hated Christianity, described how some of those first Christians died in the mid-60s when Emperor Nero launched the first wave of Roman persecution. Officials arrested everyone who admitted to being a Christian. That turned into a massive crowd of criminals sentenced to die. Before executioners carried out the sentence, the crowds ridiculed the Christians in every possible way. Then when it came time for them to die, executioners covered some in the skins of animals. Dogs tore those people apart. Others were nailed to crosses or burned alive as human torches to light the nighttime entertainment. Listen, I know it sounds crazy. Resurrection from the dead. It's like trying to defend country music to Domenico Scarlatti. He's got Fugue in G minor, and I have Almost Heaven, West Virginia. I love that song. Christians have a mission statement from Jesus: go and make believers out of people everywhere. So Christians tell the story, but they can't prove the resurrection, certainly not in a video, yet they believe it. For reasons that have to do with the Bible, certainly, but also because of ancient history, personal history, and a spiritual connection they feel, their spirit and God's spirit. If you like this video, would you give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button? My mother counts those. If you'd like more Bible background, check out my books and subscribe to my blog at stephenmillerbooks.com, or visit my Work in Progress, a paraphrase of the Bible, at casualenglishbible.com. Hey, thanks for watching. Peace to you.